Today we want to talk on a lesson that I have titled "Don't Get in Your Way." So, welcome to our Wednesday Creative Living series, where we discuss spiritual principles that we know that would guide us in aligning with the infinite potential within each and every one of us. We have been blessed, created with this infinite potential. And as often as we listen to these lessons, we do all our practices, we are constantly awakening to this truth that we are. So tonight we will explore how we unknowingly create obstacles for ourselves and how we can shift our mindset to remove these barriers. There are certain things we do out of habit. We do not know that those things are creating obstacles for us. So this lesson tonight will help us to recognize our inner strength. And we want to embrace that potential and step fully into the life that we are meant to live, the abundant life, the prosperous life, the healthy life, the great life, a life of possibilities, a life of good and greater good. That's the life that we are to live. We have been created to live abundantly. So we want to go within and discover how to overcome the patterns that hold us back. And we want to know how to unlock the doors to our highest selves. The patterns, those unforeseen things that we do, we casually do them. It's become routine for us, but we do not know some of those routines set us back. So first we want to identify the obstacles we have unknowingly created. Because if we knew they were obstacles, we probably wouldn't create them. So we want to take a moment to reflect on our thoughts, our habits, and attitude. What are your predominant thoughts that become your habits and your attitude? And that's why every Thursday we always ask this question: what has it been like being you this week? Because as truth students, we want to monitor those thoughts because those thoughts create our reality. Are there any patterns or behavior that hold you back from experiences the fullness of Spirit's blessings, God's blessing, the universe's blessings? Are there any of those things you can remember? You may want to write them down. Sometimes it may be fear of failure, self-doubt, or a lack of perseverance. Whatever it may be, we know all things are possible. We can change anything. We can do all things. Everything is possible if we believe, whatever it is that is holding us down. What happens is that belief opens the door to limitless possibilities. If you can believe, all things are possible. If you say now, because we always talk about the power being in the present moment, now you want to get rid of anything that holds you down, that cuts you short from experiencing the fullness of the blessings, of the goodness, the provisions that's abundant. Anything that is hindering you from that, now is the time to say no to this. This is not who I am. We want to actively choose to shift our mindset. You have to agree with the totality of you. Henceforth, this is not who I am. Henceforth, this is not what I want to experience or see manifest. Because again, we know the power is in the present moment. So instead of dwelling on the negative and focusing on limitations, let us redirect our thoughts towards possibilities, blessings, the God and the good. A shift of mindset. It's a continuous thing. We're constantly shifting, because those thoughts would come. And when they come, what do? You get rid of them. Consciously, whichever way that works well for you. We want to redirect our thoughts to possibilities. Whatever you focus on, you manifest. All is well. Everything is possible. You want to think and meditate on good and God, the God and the good. And you see that manifest. We always want to surround ourselves with positive influences. We want to immerse ourselves with whatever that is true, whatever that is honorable, whatever that is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute. If there be any excellence, if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. Again, we often say, tune in as often as you can, because we discuss truth here, principles. And as often as you hear it, you have a higher tendency or chance to manifest the truth that you hear. So for today's lesson is the idea that the biggest obstacle to our success, our advancement, our happiness is ourselves. Remember, the title is Don't Get in Your Way. It is self-sabotage, and it manifests in various ways. That's ourselves. It might manifest as procrastination, negative self-talk. In that quiet moment, something happens, or you're thinking of something that happened, and you're in your quiet moment, or in the bathroom, you're just talking, regurgitating those negative things over and over again. Why did this happen? I should have done it this way. I didn't make it this time around. How am I sure I would make it again? I've tried this a number of times. It's happening again. You're repeating those things. And they are also affirmations. Negative self-talk, like negative prophecies to yourself. We might find ourselves setting goals with enthusiasm only to later undermine our progress by doubting our abilities and the power that it's at work within us. If we're connected, we often say we are one with the infinite possibilities. We are connected to a perfect universe. So that power that is at work within us is perfect, is whole, is complete. And when we align to it, would always bring forth positivity, good fruits. So we want to use that power for our own good. Another example of self-sabotage is when we hesitate to act because we fear making mistakes. You know, the right thing to do is to step forward, to move. You've prayed, you treated, and it's time to move your feet, but you're fearful because you don't want to make mistakes, because your faith is shaken. This fear can be paralyzing, causing us to miss out on opportunities that could lead to growth and fulfillment. And if we often talk about divine order of things, we talk about everything working out for our own good. We talk about that in all things, all is well. So we want to trust that as we move, even with the mistakes, with the fear, that it's working out for our own good. Again, we talked about there is a pony, having a pony in there. This is what we hold on to tenaciously. There's always good. There's good everywhere. And when we go with this positive expectancy, we'll attract that and we'll see it. So imagine someone who dreams of starting their own business but continually delays taking the first step because they fear it won't be perfect. They might convince themselves that they need more time, more resources, or more skills before they can begin. Doing so creates a barrier that prevents them from moving forward. From our understanding of this teaching, we want to see these experiences as opportunities for spiritual growth and self-discovery instead of obstacles. So for every situation that does not seem right, that we are fearful of, if we can quiet ourselves and know that in all things, victory is ours. If we know the magnitude of the power that we are one with and walk into any situation with that boldness, if we know that before we get into a situation, victory is already assured, because it says that the thoughts of God, the thoughts of the universe for you and for me are thoughts of good, never of bad, to give us a future and a hope and an expected end. What an assurance. So when we notice procrastination, negative self-talk, or fear, we gently remind ourselves that these are merely signals guiding us back to our center, where our innate wisdom and strength reside. So when things are not happening the way you planned, how do you react to it? Do you quiet yourself and go within and go to the center of your being? Louise said, referred to it as the center where there's infinite well of love, wisdom, power. Everything you need, it's available. For instance, when we set our goals enthusiastically and later feel uncertainty creeping in, this is a moment to do what? To pause and reflect. To pause and go within. To take that journey without a distance. To take that pause that refreshes. It's a chance to reconnect with our inner guidance and reaffirm our belief in divine guidance and our ability to achieve whatever we desire. If you can believe all things are possible, we want to see doubt not as a barrier, but as a prompt to refine our vision, clarify our intentions, and trust the process. Trust the process of life. We know everything is unfolding perfectly. When we say all things work out for good, we mean all things in totality. So the challenging things, the challenging times, the good, the bad, everything, it's working out fundamentally for your good. So we want to trust the process. Again, imagine someone who dreams of becoming a published author. They have a passion for storytelling and have spent years crafting a novel. However, as they get closer to sending their manuscript to publishers, they start to hesitate. They start to worry that the story might not be good enough. Thinking, what if it's not up to the mark? What if it doesn't meet standards? This fear of imperfection begins to weigh heavily on their mind. What if this project is rejected? Natural to feel that way. This fear could easily lead them to endlessly revise, delay submissions, or even abandon the project altogether. But instead of letting fear take over, the aspiring author would want to see this as a chance to be kind to themselves, because we always want to come from that place of connection where we know that despite the turbulence, all is well. They can acknowledge that the fear of imperfection is not a weakness, but a sign of their deep commitment to their craft and desire to share something meaningful to the world. In this teaching, we're always reframing every negative thing. By embracing this understanding, they can shift their perspective from self-criticism to growth and learning. And that is what we always want to do as students, truth students. Rather than seeing the need for more time, resources, or skills as a delay, they can view it as a natural part of their journey, gathering necessary tools and wisdom to create something truly magnificent. We see this show forth in different areas of our lives, at work, at home. Sometimes we start something and out of little frustration, we just abandon it. We have so many abandoned projects. This way, we turn obstacles into opportunities, trusting that every experience is divinely orchestrated and guides us on our journey, even when the way ahead seems unclear. We are divinely guided. Our steps are ordered. There's a quote here by Albert Einstein. He says, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunities." And we want to always say this, and not to run away from difficult situations, and have that mindset that there is good in all situations. And have that mindset like the eagle that looks forward to the turbulent wind and trusts its chest upon that, because that will lift the eagle above. There's always good in every situation. So we want to train ourselves to look out for the good in all situations. All situations. We're talking about the things we do that get in our way and how to approach it as truth students. Again, remember that we are co-creators with the divine, and know that the power to create, we have that power to create. Light is within us. And as often as we practice and use it, we perfect how it works. A significant part of not getting in our way involves recognizing and overcoming limiting beliefs. And what are these limiting beliefs? They tell us that we are not good enough. We are not smart enough. We are not deserving of success. We are incapable of achieving our dreams. We are unworthy of love. We are too flawed to be accepted, too old to change, or too inexperienced to make a difference. You can call these limiting beliefs, you can call them lies. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's all about the good and the God and the good. And once we align to that, despite the current situation, we will see the good. So the whisper that our past mistakes define us, that others are more talented, and that somehow we lack what it takes to live a fulfilled and meaningful life. You sometimes think that this way. Alongside these beliefs come negative labels: failure, inadequate, unworthy, undeserving, broken, too weak, too late, or simply not enough. What have you been labeled with? And these labels, these beliefs, negative beliefs, can create heavy burden, convincing us that we are limited and that our potential is out of reach. They are often ingrained in us from a young age. I know some people that have been told they are not good in math, and they grew up with that. And what those things do is that even when you know it, even when you're being taught, you already have a block, a mental block that you can never do well at this. But again, we know these are lies, these are not truths. And whatever our understanding of this teaching, we have the choice, we have the power. Just like Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. So if you want to believe those limiting beliefs, then it shows forth for you. And if you want to take them off like we take off our clothes and drop it out, it's also possible. Because you have the power, you have the choice. It's entirely your decision. And we always talk about the power being in the present moment. Now you can get rid of those things. But we know from our classes that it's not only a thought, that's only a thought. And a thought can be changed. Whatever are those things that you have been labeled with, you can change all of them. We have the power to do that. I have a good affirmation that we can use. I am more than enough. I'm worthy of love, success, and all the good life has to offer. I deserve it. I'm worthy of it. My past does not define me. I am constantly growing and evolving and capable of achieving my dreams with strength, resilience, and limitless potential. I am intelligent. I'm creative and resourceful, equipped with everything I need to succeed and thrive in every aspect of my life. So if we believe we are capable and deserving, we are more likely to take actions that lead to positive outcomes. Conversely, if we believe we are not, then the reverse will be the case. Another one that gets in our way is fear. Fear is a powerful force that often holds us back and stops us from moving forward. Fear. It can make us doubt ourselves. It can make us avoid taking actions, becoming one of the biggest reasons we get in our way. Fear. And we have described fear sometime here as false evidence that appear real. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, and fear of judgment can all contribute to a reluctance to step out of our comfort zone. What are you fearful of? What is that thing? Do you want to really sit on this definition that fear is false evidence that appear real? It's like a mirage. You see it from a distance. As you're getting closer, it's no longer there. It's important to recognize that fear is a natural response, but it doesn't have to control our actions. We have flesh and blood, and we get anxious. It's natural. But we also have the power to control it. We have said earlier that fear is false. It's false. So whatever are those things that you are fearful, that's become a mountain before you, they are false. That hinders you from taking that step. There's a quote here from Nelson Mandela. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave person is not the one who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Like I said, it's natural to be fearful. But with this, our understanding and all that we know that we have access to, we are one with, we would conquer fear. We do not let fear deter us from taking that steps of faith. In this teaching, we remind you that fear is not a sign of weakness at all, but an opportunity to demonstrate courage. It's almost like you take exam to go to the next level. If you overcome a level of fear, you move to a level of courage, victory. So you remind yourself that you are alive and connected to the same power that created all things. And anything contrary is subject to that power. We do not want to see fear as an enemy to be fought, but as a signal to guide us toward greater self-awareness and spiritual growth. Again, it may also be a pointer that some areas need spiritual work. We need to work on some areas if some things are always popping up. So rather than resisting or suppressing fear, from this teaching, we can approach it with understanding, with compassion, and the recognition that it is part of our human experience. We can also see it from this other perspective, this teaching, that every experience in our life, including fear, has a purpose. So we want to see that and know the reason for this and understand that there's always a reason. There's always everything there's always a learning to do in every situation. Everything for us is a teacher. Every experience. Fear often arises when we are on the verge of growth or stepping into new territory. Every time you want to take your first step, you're starting something new, and fear comes to cripple. But if we look beyond that fear, if you look beyond the zone of that fear, there's abundance, there's freedom, there's everything good. There's everything bright and beautiful. Like I said earlier, fear is like a mirage. So instead of seeing fear as unfavorable, we can reframe it as an invitation to expand our consciousness and become a higher version of ourselves. We're always talking about raising our consciousness from good to greater good, from glory to glory. I have an affirmation here. I embrace fear as a signal that I am growing and evolving. I welcome the opportunity to move beyond my current limitations. What are you fearful of? What is that thing that's crippled you? Another way to ensure we don't get in our own way is by cultivating a mindset of positivity and possibility. We always talk about this all the time. Our positive affirmations, they are a powerful tool in this regard. positively expecting something good to happen. By regularly affirming our worth, capabilities, and potential, what happens is that we reprogram our minds to focus on what is possible rather than what is lacking. Because we talk about affirmations all the time. I affirm I am blessed, I'm abundant, I'm supplied and supported. As often as we do that, there's something that is happening within. There's a reprogramming. There's a change of focus. So your natural tendency as we affirm this positivity is always bright, it's always good. Positive affirmations help change the way our brain thinks. When we say positive things like, I am confident, our brain often starts to build new neural pathways or connections that make positive thinking easier. You just find that, like, we often hear some of us talk during our interactions time. I just find out that I'm not moved by this situation. Things that would have perturbed you earlier. But with this mindset, you just find out that you're looking out for the good. What next do you have? I can do all things. And now out of this situation, only great and good would come out of it. Because there's a reprogramming already taking place. And just like practicing a skill, using affirmations regularly trains our brain to focus more on the good. What it does, it reduces negative thoughts and makes us feel better overall. We are co-creators. We can create things. So when we focus on these positive things, when we focus on all the good, the just, the right, the pure, there's a reprogramming happening within. I have another affirmation. I am capable of achieving great things. Yes, I am capable of achieving great things. By repeating these affirmations daily, we begin to internalize the belief that we are indeed capable. I can do all things. And what happens is that this shift in mindset will lead to increased confidence, motivation, and action. Because everything boils down to the actions, the steps, moving in the right direction. Another one is that through our classes, we learn to take full responsibility for all our lives, which is another way to ensure we don't get in our way. We try control. We are the pilot. We are the drivers of our lives. We can control what happens within and how we react to things, but we don't want to bother ourselves with things that happen outside. We are the creators of our reality, and we have the power to shape our experiences through our choices and actions. Again, it involves moving away from a victim mentality and embracing an empowered mindset. That mindset of authority. That mindset that everything is possible. That mindset that I decree a thing and it will come to pass. That mindset of wholeness, of completeness. A victim mentality is a way of thinking where individuals consistently see themselves as victims of circumstances, believing that life happens to them than for them. And what happens is if you see anything happen, oh, these things are doing it to get at me. No, no, no. People with victim mentality often feel powerless because they depend on externalities to live their lives, to make their decisions. They are powerless. They blame external factors such as other people, events, or luck for their misfortunes or lack of success. And this leads to helplessness, resentment, and a sense of being stuck. And when this happens, you hear things like, why does this always happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? But true students, we won't say things like that. Because we know we have the power to turn things around. We have the power to change the focus. We have the power to concentrate on good and only good. And as we feel the totality of our being with everything good, bright, and beautiful, we really will not have any space for rancor, for negativity. Another one we often hear is, I can't do anything about it. Do you often hear yourself say that? I can't do anything about it. Yes, you can do something about it. You have been blessed with everything you need for life and godliness. You can do something about it. You're an intelligent being. You can do something about it. We can change this negative self-talk by affirming, I am in control of my life. I choose how I respond to challenges and create my own path. I have the power to change my reality and make positive choices every day. I like these statements or this affirmation. I can do all things. As truth students, we want to be willing to move beyond our comfort zones because it also holds us down. Growth and transformation happen when we push ourselves to explore new territories, take risks, and embrace change. We're so comfortable on our oars, so comfortable of things happening in a certain way. Meanwhile, the Spirit is trudging us to move forward, to expand our horizon, to go to that level of exceedingly abundantly above. That's what that power that is at work within you can do. So while it can be tempting to stay in familiar surroundings, true fulfillment comes from stepping into unknown and trusting in the process of life that unfolds perfectly. It comes at the right time. It never makes mistakes. It's never late. It never sleeps. It never slumbers. So in conclusion, life's journey is filled with opportunities, challenges, and the potential for growth. There are opportunities, there are challenges, and potential for growth. And that growth would only be possible when you know that the challenges are not there to deter you. They are there to take you to the next level. They are there to bring you to another place of awareness, understanding. Because as we face the challenges, there's always self-discovery. There's there are always new heights of anything you're experiencing. Now, if it's abundance, there's always a next level to that. If it's peace, there's always the peace that surpasses all understanding. There's always a next level. God is never tired of bringing, the universe is never tired of bringing good. It's all about good. It's all about great. Often, the only thing standing between us and our fullest potential is ourselves. So we want to align with divine flow. And stop hindering the move of the Spirit that's about to lift us to greater heights. By recognizing how we get in our own way and taking conscious steps to overcome these patterns, we can unlock new levels of success, of happiness, of fulfillment, of peace, of love, of everything good. Remember that self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, and fear are natural parts of the human experience, but they do not have to define us. Trust in the divine order of things, knowing these challenges are opportunities for spiritual growth. And they are opportunities for deeper alignment with our true and highest self. And all we do, we gather each time here to remind ourselves, to remind you that you are powerful creators of your destinies. So let's choose to step out of our own way and embrace our inner strength and move boldly toward the life we are meant to live. That is the abundant life. We can actually live abundantly in all areas of our lives. And so it is.